Yo, peep this. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Let's view it. And like I said before, this channel is going to cover all types of different topics. Some to make you cry, some to make you laugh, some to make you mad, some to make you happy. And for this next video clip I'm about to react to, it's going to be interesting, I would imagine. And, just before we get this started, let me make it perfectly clear. I'm a man of God. And there's been a lot of funny business going on lately. So here's a video with the interesting headline. The headline reads, Drag Queen Leads Church Service. A drag church brunch.
Bruh.
Well, I gotta say it. So let's view it. Before I hit that play button, let's look at what we got here though. From what the looks of it looks like there's some type of brunch going on. It's for the church. And clearly there's a drag queen doing some sort of speech. So here we go.
So things are changing in the church, but as a Christian, as someone who works in the church, and I'm weird. I have a really cool love for God and Jesus, and I always have. I'm a recovering Southern Baptist. So back in Texas, I was raised
Right out the gate, it's already not promoting, obviously, whatever church is promoting or whatever they feel like. I don't like to really get into it because I'm not much of a church person, but whatever they feel God represents. He comes out right away and says there's been a change starting in church. Why would you need to change anything that God has put as a rule or a way for us?
Baptist, and so I came out of the closet when I was 15 years old. As a gay man, because that's all I knew then. That's the only terminology I knew. Non-binary wasn't really a terminology for a little queer in East Texas, and then even learning that terminology.
The reason why non-binary was not terminology for them was because it's not real. And back in the old days, we didn't let fantasy override what reality is. And we definitely didn't force people with some sort of mental illness decide what our terminology was going to be.
And then coming to terms with who I am, it's just been a beautiful journey. But when I came out of the closet, the church, I remember sitting in a Sunday school class. I really had questions. I always have had a lot of questions. And questions.
I'm sorry I keep pausing it, but I just have to, I don't get the term with this, the drag queens, the transgenders is, I finally found out who I am, but at the same time, if they accepted who they are, they wouldn't be going through all these changes and makeup and costumes and all that. How is all these artificial outside costume and surgeries who you are? Who you are is who you are.
Are okay, especially in the church. I think the more questions we have in the church, the better the church is, okay? So don't let some normally white old man tell you what's right and what's wrong, because they don't know.
So let me get this straight. I'm not supposed to buy what an old white dude would tell me is right and wrong, but I'm supposed to believe and follow a 6-foot young white dude who dresses and lives as a female snow cone?
It's not about tolerance. It's not even about acceptance, believe it or not. You can accept someone is gay or bi or trans or whatever, but when you ask them, would you hire?
All these people here are just like, should we leave? Should we go right now?
Affirm to the core of your being as loved and lovely, just the way you are. You have to know that. Again, I know you know.
Again, to love you as the way you are means not to do all this makeup, surgery, all these things. You were born the way you are. How is this so hard for them to understand this? And on a side note, if you guys notice, looking out in the crowd, look it. There are no kids. You know why? Because this is not kid appropriate. When do you ever partake in an activity in a church that is not appropriate for a kid? This is the world we're coming to. This is what all this LGBTQ stuff is bringing. Inappropriate stuff to churches that you can no longer invite the kids to the brunch. Because they want to talk about accepting what people sleep with and all this stuff. And none of that's important. This is not about acceptance.
So I remember sitting in Sunday school, and I grew up in East Texas, and I was 15, had just got my driver's permit. The church I went to was about 2 miles from my house, and my parents actually let me drive to church illegally because they didn't go, because they were burned by the church. And so I remember sitting in Sunday school and asking my Sunday school.
Again, he's sneaking in another diss saying his parents didn't go to church because they were burnt by the church. How is this a church sermon? What does this have to do with God? How can he sit there and say he's a man of God? How can in one breath say I believe I'm a man of God, but I also believe that God made mistakes and he puts boys and girls and girls and boys, or puts boys and girls or boys and girls and boys or girls? Yeah, even when I said it, it sounded crazy, but y'all believe it.
God loves us so much, but yet if we don't fit a certain mold that you're telling us, then we're going to go to this really bad place. This really awful place for eternity, which I don't believe in hell. That's bullshit. It's made up by the patriarchy in the church.
Hell was made up by the patriarchy? What are they talking about? What are they talking about? The world is so lost. He's in a church that obviously supports a Christian Bible, saying he doesn't believe in hell. Again, I believe in God. I have my own feelings and beliefs. I'm not a church person or necessarily a Bible person, and I'm not trying to claim that I know the ins and outs of everything in the Bible. But I'm pretty sure I know it's against being homosexual and definitely mutilating your bodies. And if anything, accusing God that he made you wrong.
Because, honey, if it gets worse than the shit that happens here on earth, then because it's pretty bad. But we are.
A lot of what's wrong with the earth is holding the microphone. Demons.
Did you have a napkin? My allergies. Thank you. My allergies have been fucked. Bruh.
Again, how is this about church? So far, I've heard nothing but anti-church stuff, and now this drag queen is up there cursing, and they're laughing. They're laughing. Again, this is not about acceptance. This is about a group of people that want to see how far they can push the lines and get away with what others cannot. What others cannot. I've never seen anything like this. Equality, acceptance. As a black man, we all know that there was really slavery and there was racism. And even to this day, there still is. But every day, I don't have to have a parade about it. I don't have to talk about it. I don't need to count the black people in the movie. And for sure, it didn't mean that black people get to run around and do whatever they want and talk about sexual shit towards kids and just be an untouchable group. This has never happened. This has never happened. These are untouchable people.
Sorry. I'm a Christian, but I cuss a little, okay? Don't say that word. I also am a firm believer in science, and we don't know what's beyond us. So that's why I'm like, if you're looking at someone and you're telling them you're wrong, you need to look at yourself and be like, I might be wrong too, okay? So I left the church and then went back. And the reason I went back is because I want to change the system from within.
And again, they have to believe in science because science is the way that, I hate to say it, but it's the way they lie to us. They're going to say there's scientific facts that back that girls can be born boys and boys can be born girls. And of course, we know it's not true.
Know that if you've been hurt by the church, I have, as a queer person, as a drag entertainer, as a non-binary person, I've been hurt by the church, and I've been
about this drag queen, non-binary person, this dude is literally said multiple times during this speech, I've been hurt by the church. I've been hurt by the church. Now, again, I don't support this church. I don't know what church this is, but who shows up to a brunch for a church just to repeatedly say how they've been hurt by a church?
I bet many of you in this room have too. Whether you're gay, straight, bisexual, black, white, transgender, I bet many of us have been hurt by the church. Know that the church does not have power over you. And know that
it's not about church. It's about God. It's about God. It's about God having power over you. Not about a building. About, as you can see, this is supposed to be Christian people in here, and they're clapping for just complete nonsense and really blasphemy when it comes to how they're supposed to believe.
as a Christian, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for the damage that they've done to our queer community and the folks within our lives, and putting shame and guilt on people, because that's not the way to live, right? I went back to, so my mom.
The shame and guilt comes from within them. You can't put shame and guilt on people. I'm a straight man. Not only do I not care that I'm a straight man, but you could never shame me or guilt me for being a straight man.
I was like, I live for love, I live for kindness, I live for humanity. I don't live to try to avoid a place that I firmly believe doesn't exist, but that we don't know exists. So live into love, live into justice, and live into harmony, and know that you are important, that you have power.
Trying to basically talk people away from God is not living for love. That's all we really need is God. Once we all have that real relationship with them, we will show love. We will show love.
Know that if you feel like you're alone, you're not. And I know sometimes it feels so hard. I suffer with rampant depression, honey. But
no doubt you suffer from depression. You're a guy that dresses as a girl and tries to live as a girl and then points the finger at everybody else of why you're upset with that. Of course you're depressed. You need to find God instead of sitting there trying to turn everybody else against him. You don't think if I had a big ass red permed out wig and some green, what is that? Sequin? Is that what they call that? Sequin dress? And some 6-heel pumps, and I weigh 210 pounds, that I wouldn't be depressed?
You are not alone. You are important. You are here for a reason. And don't let anyone take that power away from you, because you are beautiful. And you are...
Okay, she's basically talking to herself. I'm sick of these self-affirmations or whatever. I've seen enough of the video. You can obviously tell this ain't right. There's no kids that should obviously... I hope there's no kids. I don't see no kids. I've seen like maybe a few, like maybe 18, 17, possibly 16-year-olds. But again, this is not about acceptance. This is not about accepting anyone. This is about, one is about how much they feel like they can push a limit and what they can get away with. And two, I'm going to be honest with you, their deepest fear is that we stop caring. They love the attention. This is about attention, whether it's negative or positive. They need to keep the attention coming. You gotta understand that the majority of this type of population, the drags, the trans, the binaries, crinaries, and whatever aries, I can almost guarantee you, they never felt like they were part of something. They probably didn't have a lot of friends in school. They were probably, really shy, probably not very talented, and, considered the loser, for lack of a better word. And now it's their time to shine. And they don't ever want to let it go. They don't ever want to let it go. That is their biggest fear, is that we all actually treat them like everyone else and just not care. Their biggest fear is that we all actually treat them just like everyone else and not care. Introduce yourself with your name. End of story. I don't go on.
I'm heterosexual black male Tyrone. Nice to meet you.
I don't know. Just, we're going to have a lot more topics on this, and I'm sure plenty more crazy videos. And I hope you guys did enjoy it. Tell me what you think about this whole situation, everything. Comment below. So hit the bell like the Hunchback so you can get notifications when I put up my next video so you don't miss a thing. And also hit that hitchhiker button and subscribe with me. And I'll see you on the next trip. Day and night.
Keep it real, keep it real, keep it real.
All my life.
Keep it real, keep it real, keep it real.
Can't help
Keep it real, keep it real, keep it real.